Today is Thanksgiving, so the hymn I'm featuring today is Come Ye Thankful People Come. The lyrics were written by Henry Alford in 1844. The name of the hymn tune is St. George's Windsor, and it was written in 1858. The meter is 7/7/7/7D. I found this hymn in two different hymnals, but the version I liked has more verses, and they are more biblically relevant. Since the lyrics were written in 1844, you'll hear all the King James Version language such as thee, thy, doth, etc. The Pilgrims that sat around that table on the first Thanksgiving Day had a lot to be thankful for. They lived through the trip over the Atlantic Ocean and through sickness. The Indians did help them plant corn and were invited to the Thanksgiving feast. America, however, is more of an urban society these days than an agrarian one. So some of these words that refer to the harvest might fall strangely on our ears. Speaking of lyrics, let's take a look at them. The first verse reminds us that God provides for all our needs, and we should be thankful for that by going to God's temple and raising the Song of Harvest Home. Now, you may be wondering what the Song of Harvest Home is, and so did I, so I looked it up. Per Britannica.com, Harvest Home, also called Ingathering, was a traditional English harvest festival, celebrated from antiquity and surviving to modern times in isolated regions. Participants celebrate the last day of harvest in late September by singing, shouting, and decorating the village with boughs. The Pilgrims may have celebrated this festival when they were still in England. The verse mentions that all the crops have been gathered in for the harvest before the winter weather begins. In the second verse, wheat and tares together sown, reminds me of the parable of the wheat and the tares in the Gospel of Matthew. Unto sorrow, joy or sorrow grown, refers to Matthew chapter 13, verses 37 to 43, where Jesus explains what will happen to the wheat and the tares at the end of the age. The third line of the second verse describes the growing process of corn, and in the fourth line, the lyricist asks that the Lord grants that we may be wholesome and pure. The first line of the third verse refers to when the Lord will come and call us home in the rapture. We believers are his harvest. The third and the fourth lines of the third verse refer to the second coming of Jesus, when the tares are thrown in the fire, and the fruitful ears, believers, will be in heaven with the Lord forevermore. The fourth verse implores the Lord to quickly come and take his harvest home, free from sorrow and sin, to live in his presence forevermore. I hope that you and your family have a happy Thanksgiving. The sung hymn is coming up next.
Come, ye thankful people, come, raise the song of harvest home. All is safely gathered in, ere the winter storms begin. God our Maker doth provide for our wants to be supplied. Come to God's own temple, come, raise the song of harvest home. All the world is God's own field, fruit unto his praise to yield. Wheat and tares together sown, unto joy or sorrows grown. First the blade and then the ear, then the full corn shall appear. Lord of harvest, grant that we wholesome grain and pure may be. For the Lord our God shall come, and shall take his harvest home. From his field shall in that day all offences purge away. Give his angels charge at last, in the fire the tares to cast, but the fruitful years to store in his corner evermore. Even so, Lord, quickly come to thy final harvest home. Gather thou thy people in, free from sorrow, free from sin. there forever purified, in thy presence to abide. With all thine angels come, raise the glorious harvest home. Thanks for stopping by today. I hope you and your family have a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you like what you see and hear, please consider subscribing. See you next time.